Hi, welcome to Tasty Thursday. Today we have a really fun recipe. We have another birthday this week. Can you believe it? This birthday is super special because our viewer is turning 1. Do you remember when you turned 1? I don't. But she's turning 1 this week, so happy birthday to her. And in honor of her birthday, we're going to be making a recipe that uses her very favorite food, which is, can you guess? Cheerios! Today we're making something called a breakfast cookie, and one of the ingredients in this breakfast cookie is Cheerios. So, don't worry about all the ingredients behind me. Some of you who like to make recipes with only 2 or 3 ingredients might be worried when you see all of these ingredients, but it really is very simple, I promise. This is a great recipe to make as a whole family. Everybody can take turns pitching in different ingredients. Okay, so let's go down our ingredients list. We've got, of course, our Cheerios. Those are the star of our recipe. We've got, you can use butter. Today I'm using butter-flavored Crisco to make these a dairy-free option. We've got salt, some quick oats, and these are left over from our last recipe. We've got sugar, peanut butter, baking soda, flour, a little bit of water. You can't see it, but there's water in here. Vanilla, raisins, and 1 egg. So let's get started. The first thing that you want to do is preheat your oven to 375. Okay, and we're going to add 1 1/4 cups of sugar. So you can do this in a big bowl, or if you have a mixer like I do, an electric mixer, you can mix it up in there. So here goes 1 cup. 1 1/4. Okay, almost done with the sugar. Okay, there is our first ingredient. And then our next ingredient, we're going to add the water. So we'll take our water and just dump it right in. Our next ingredient is going to be our Crisco, or in your case, if you decide to use butter or margarine, this is where you're going to add that. Let's see. Get it out of the container. Now, Crisco is a little bit different than butter because you don't have to keep it in the fridge. It's not actually a dairy product, it's an oil product, so you can leave it out on the counter. Okay. So we're going to do a 1/2 cup. So you won't be able to see this on the video, but it's the same as on a stick of butter. If you look on the side, there's different ingredients, and that's kind of an easy way to figure out how much you need instead of measuring it into a measuring cup. You can still put it in a measuring cup, but I know I need 1/2 cup. So there's a 1/2 cup mark right here. So I'm going to just start right here and put everything from here back into my bowl. So let's add this in. Whoop, right in there. Did you hear that plop? Okay. Our next ingredient is going to be 1 egg. So we're going to crack the egg. You have to be careful when you crack it, because if you tap too hard, you break the whole thing. Cracking an egg is kind of a talent that you'll acquire as you do more and more cooking. Okay, and then we're going to do our peanut butter. We're going to add 1/2 cup peanut butter, and you may use creamy or crunchy. I am using crunchy. The creamy would work just fine. Okay, so we'll measure out our 1/2 cup. Looks like 1 more scoop and we might be good. You can tell how much our taste tester likes peanut butter. Almost empty. Gonna have to buy some more. He will not have a bedtime snack. Okay, so here's our 1/2 cup of peanut butter. So we're gonna just dump that right in, right into our mixture. Okay, and then our last ingredient for this step is 1 teaspoon of vanilla. So I've got my measuring spoon, and I found my teaspoon. So I'm gonna just measure 1 teaspoon. Dump it in. put the lid back on, and now this is the point. If you were mixing by hand, you would just mix this all up, but since I'm using my electric mixer, this is the part I am going to start my mixer up and get everything nice and blended, which should just take about 2 minutes. So we're going to be back in 2 minutes and we'll see how our mixture is all nice and blended together. Okay, as you can see, our Crisco peanut butter mixture is pretty well blended together. So we are going to turn our mixer off, and now it's time to add the rest of our ingredients. Okay, so the next thing we need is 1 cup of raisins, and I've already measured these out, but if you're using these small boxes, that equates to 3 small boxes of raisins. So we're going to just dump our raisins in. Very nice. Then we're going to use our quick oats, and we're going to do 1 cup of those. And we're just dumping everything right into the same mixture. There we go. We need 1½ cups of flour. So I've got my flour container, and I'm doing 1 cup. And here's my ½ cup. And then I need my baking soda. And I'm going to do a ½ teaspoon of baking soda, which is this little tiny one. And baking soda is in the orange box, as you can see. Dump that right in. And then I'm going to use, if you're using a little salt grinder like this, it's just 1 little turn. Otherwise you can do about 1/8 of a teaspoon. Okay, so we're going to mix this just really quickly, just for a couple seconds. Just enough to get the flour mixed in a little bit. You don't want to turn your mixer on too fast, otherwise your flour will fly up in your face and you'll be covered. It'll be a big mess. Okay, so now we have our final ingredient, which is the star of our show, Cheerios! Okay, so you might remember from a couple weeks ago I used this funny looking measuring cup that I can put liquid in this in, and this is where I had the water, but because we have a dry ingredient, which means it's not wet, Cheerios are a dry ingredient, we're going to use this end, and I'm going to do 3 cups of Cheerios. So here is 1½ cups. I just divided the 3 cups into 2 1½ cup sections. So here's our final 1½ cups. And we're going to dump that in, mix that up just for a couple of minutes, and then we're ready to put them in the oven, almost. Okay, our Cheerios mixture is ready to go on the pan. So, once again, you're going to be using our trusty scoop. So, you don't need to grease the pan or anything, because when you put Crisco in it, that makes it so that you don't have to grease the pan. So we're going to just take a big pan, and we're going to just make little scoops of our Cheerio cookies and put them right on our cookie sheet. And once I finish this, like I said, we have got our oven preheated. They're going to have to bake 8 to 10 minutes. But depending on your oven, you're going to want to check. I would check at 8 minutes and see what they look like to you. And if you want them a little more brown, let them go a little bit more. So I'm going to finish loading my tray up with Cheerio cookies, breakfast cookies, and then put them in my oven, and then we'll be back to check them when they're finished baking. Okay, it's been 10 minutes, and so we're going to take our cookies out. They look nice and golden. And then we need to just let them sit for about 5 minutes before you move them from the tray. So we're going to let them cool, and then we're going to have a taste test. Wonder what he's going to think about a breakfast cookie.
We sing happy birthday to you, and may all your dreams come true. Happy, happy birthday. Oh, this is your birthday song. Oh.
Okay, it's Bonus Tasty Thursday. Today we're doing 2 recipes. I tricked you and didn't tell you that at the beginning. That's a birthday surprise for our birthday viewer who's celebrating her first birthday very soon, in just a couple of days. Okay, so the next thing we're going to make is also a Cheerio recipe. These are going to be called Cheerio donuts, and this is a really simple but really fun recipe. They're miniature donuts. So here are our ingredients. We need very few ingredients. We need some Cheerios. We need some chocolate chips, or you could also use frosting. I don't have any of that, but if you have any of that frosting that comes in a tube, a little squeezable tube, that works really well too. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is just take a little tiny scoop. We need to melt our chocolate chips. And I just melted mine by putting them in the microwave for about 30 seconds, and then I stirred them, and then I needed to microwave them for about 15 more seconds. So we'll go ahead and start them up. Okay, so in the meantime, what you need to do is decide what you want for your sprinkles. So I have this neat little container that I got at the grocery store that has multiple colors of sprinkles in them. So that's what I'm using. And then I also have this stuff called edible glitter. Now, I got this at Hobby Lobby, and if you want to try this, it's something that your moms could find there as well. Okay, so I actually have already mixed up some chocolate that's ready to go, so we're not going to worry about the stuff that's in the microwave because we'll have to do that a little bit longer. So this is the chocolate that we've already melted. So let's see, what we're going to do next though is I've got this one empty little dipping container, so I'm going to add some green sprinkles to it. There we go. And in order to do this, you need either a little plate, or I have these little shallow dipping bowls. Those work too. Okay, so let's grab some Cheerios and get started. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to take, and again, be sure you have clean hands because this is a recipe that you use your hands for the whole thing, your fingers for the whole thing. Okay, so you don't want to get too much frosting on your Cheerios, so what I do is just take a little bit on my spoon and I put my Cheerio and kind of push it down lightly, just enough so that some of the chocolate or frosting, if you decide to use that, sticks to it. So it looks like this. Just a little bit. And then I'm going to just choose my color. So we're going to start with green. And you just drop it into your sprinkles, chocolate side down so it sticks. And then pick it up and look at that! Doesn't that look awesome? It's a little bite-sized donut. Okay, let's do a chocolate one, or one with dark chocolate this time. So we just put our donut, or our Cheerio, our miniature donut, right down in there. Just enough to get it coated. And let's do some of the edible glitter this time. This will be beautiful. Sparkly. Ooh, it's a glitter donut. Alright, we'll do one more of each of our colors so that we've got the full collection. What do you think our taste tester's going to think when I ask him if he wants to taste donuts? I don't think he's going to be expecting this. Okay, last one, and we need to do blue, so I need to do this kind. The main thing to remember is not to get too much chocolate on your Cheerio, because if you get too much chocolate on your Cheerio, then the sprinkles don't want to stick. So there you have our miniature donuts. Who's hungry for a box of donuts?